Good morning, everybody. So, it's that time of the year again, and you know what that means. It's time for me and my zit to predict the Oscar nominations for 2023. Also, this is not ranked, it's just in random order. However, I will rank them after the official nominees will be released, which is this coming Tuesday. Yes, I'm gonna be watching it live and I'm inviting you all to join me and watch it together with me. I don't know why you wanna wake up so early in the morning for 20 minutes when you can catch it later when you are awake. Anyway, let's begin. Starting with Best Picture. Last year was a great year for films. So many good movies came out in 2022 that even with 10 spots in this category, it was still challenging trying to fit 10 movies here. I remember when I expanded back to 10 nominees and people were like, oh man, that's too many. Well, 2022 is one of these years that makes you think, that's not enough. Everything, everywhere, all at once. A force to be reckoned with, you can't deny it anymore. The Fablemans. This one got all the ingredients. A great movie, legendary director, and Hollywood story, and you know how much Hollywood loves celebrating itself. Speaking of, Babylon. Yeah, for the same reason. Top Gun Maverick. Definitely the blockbuster popcorn movie action flick of 2022. It had no reason to be that good, but it was. Speaking of big budget films, of course, Avatar, The Way of Water. How do you describe this movie in 2 words? James Cameron. Tar. Easy. Quality cinema at its finest. The Banshees of Inisherin. One of the most talked about movies of last year. And I would throw Elvis in there as well. For many, this film was a surprise. I liked it from the beginning. People laughed at me. Who's laughing now? And the last 2. That was a tough one. I feel like it's a coin toss between Woman Talking and The Whale. I'll go with Woman Talking. No, The Whale. Just because. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's my final answer, sir. I should probably change it. Too late. Also, All Quiet on the Western Front. To me, this one was a surprise. I did not expect to be so caught up in this movie. There's a lot of other deserved movies as well, but we are trying to predict the Oscars here. And in order to do that, you need to think like an Oscar. Best Director. Starting with, no surprise here, Steven Spielberg, who I feel like at this point he kind of became like the classic prototype of a Hollywood director. Like when you picture a director in Hollywood, you think of Steven Spielberg. Martin McDonagh, the king of dark comedy at his finest. Todd Field, what a comeback. And this might be his best work as a director at least. The Daniels, with their modern masterpiece, years in the making. And lastly, I wanted to put James Cameron so bad because in a way he's kind of like still here to remind us that you should never doubt Iron Jim. However, I gotta give the last spot to no other than Edward Berger. What he did with this movie was masterful. It could have easily been another war movie, but it's a prime example of how a director makes the difference. With that being said, just the fact that we are in 2023 and James Cameron and Steven Spielberg are still relevant in the conversation of Best Director, it's like I'm a kid again. I was also debating on Charlotte Wells and Joseph Kosinski, but like I said, there's so many good movies this year, but there's only 5 spots. Best Actress. I said it before, this was a year of strong female roles, so many amazing performances. Let's start with the obvious. Kate Blanchett. Should I even say why? It's pretty clear. Not just one of the best performances of the year, but one of the best performances of her career. Danielle Deadwyler. She was incredible, so inspiring, so powerful. She's gotta be in. Michelle Yeoh. The myth, the legend. Is there anything this woman can't do? Michelle Williams. I know she's kinda getting a little bit of mixed reviews, but she stood out to me. Easily the most memorable character from this movie. And the 5th spot was kind of a tie between Viola Davis and Margot Robbie. And it's funny because both of them are in films that some people love it, some people hate it, but we can all agree that they both were incredible. But I'll go with Viola Davis. I might be wrong, Margot Robbie gave it all, but Viola Davis, man. Honorable mentions. Too bad the movie wasn't well received for the most part, but she did great. Best Actor. Another close race here, starting with the no-brainer, Austin Butler. The man was born for this role. Rock and roll, that is. Colin Farrell. How can someone be so obnoxious and so likable at the same time? How? I'll tell you how. Colin Farrell, that's how. Brendan Fraser. Say what you say about the movie, Brendan Fraser killed it, and we sure missed him. Also, we've been saying it wrong. Apparently, it's Fraser.
Fraser. Nobody's ever got mine.
That's embarrassing. Sorry, Brendan Fraser. Fraser. Bill Nye. What can you say? The man has been around for so long and he still gives us unforgettable performances. And this is probably the hardest for me. On one hand, I just think about this guy and I want to cry. Perfect choice for this role. On the other hand, Tom Cruise is again pushing the limits of the definition of a performer and an actor who's fully committed to the job. And if he ever had a chance to win that statue, this is probably the one. But it just doesn't look like it's gonna happen. I don't know, he got snubbed at the SAG. But also Paul, if I needed to choose like one scene, to show that one scene that earned him the Oscar, he doesn't really have too many. So be it. Sorry, Tom. You know you're gonna get it eventually. Best Supporting Actress. This is actually an easy one. Let me correct myself. It's an easy one to predict the nominees, not the winner. Slight difference. Angela Bassett. You already know. It was a short one, but she made it count. Easily one of the most powerful characters in this film. Hong Chow. I'm so happy just to see her on the screen. The Whale, the Menu, so much range on this actress. Carrie Condon, literally the only normal character in this movie. She's like a breath of fresh air. And sometimes to be normal is not so easy. I know, from experience, because I'm not. Stephanie Hsu, an absolute scene stealer. But hey, it's organic. Sorry. And her co-star, of course, Jamie Lee Curtis. So talented, so funny, so terrifying. Best Supporting Actor, Paul Dano. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when I first heard that he's gonna be cast as the dad, I was like, what? He's still a kid. But when I saw him, he totally convinced me. He had this father energy. Yeah, I loved it. Can you really hate on this guy? I don't think anybody hates him. Brendan Gleeson, the other half of this film, carries it like a veteran champ with so much experience. I can't imagine anyone doing this role better than him. Next is his co-star, Barry Keoghan. He was, to me, the absolute surprise of the film. Came out of nowhere and made me want to cheer for him and also to just hug him. Ki Hee Kwan. Out of this entire list, he's probably the most certain one to get nominated. I never fell in love with a character in a movie so fast. And lastly, once again, it's a coin toss. Eddie Redmayne definitely deserves a nomination, but I'm going to be an adventurous on this one and take a risk here. And I'm gonna go with Judd Hirsch. This is more like the hard choice. I'm probably wrong on this one. I just love him so much, man. He always brings this family warm home feel. And I'm not just saying this because I'm Jewish and he reminds me of my grandfather and my uncles. All of my family, really. Yeah, I know I'm taking a bet here. I'm probably gonna regret it, but this is life. Whoever gets it, I'll be happy. So, those are my predictions. Again, I'm inviting you to join me this coming Tuesday to watch the official nominations live. Should be very interesting. I'm really hoping for a surprise here. I cannot wait to be wrong. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you Tuesday.